What if the greatest discoveries in human history were never meant to reach you? What if the man who could power the world for free was quietly erased? Not because he failed, but because he succeeded too much. Nikola Tesla was not just an inventor. He was a visionary whose ideas threatened the very foundations of power, profit, and control. After his death, his room was sealed, his papers were taken, and his most dangerous ideas vanished into classified archives. This is not the Tesla taught in textbooks, not the eccentric genius feeding pigeons, but a mind that saw the future so clearly it frightened those who ruled the present. Tonight we step beyond the official history and into the forbidden story of inventions that could have ended energy monopolies, experiments that challenged the limits of physics, and secrets so powerful they were buried instead of celebrated. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may never look at electricity, technology, or history the same way again. Nikola Tesla was a man who never truly belonged to his time. From an early age, his mind worked differently, visualizing complex machines in perfect detail without ever needing to draw them. He could replay inventions in his head, rotating them, testing them, correcting flaws mentally before a single component was built. This extraordinary ability made him both admired and feared. Tesla lived by routines others found strange, avoided physical contact, was obsessed with numbers and patterns. Yet behind these quirks was a mind of unmatched clarity. While the world celebrated loud personalities and businessmen, Tesla focused purely on ideas. He wasn't driven by wealth or fame, but by a belief that science should elevate humanity. This philosophy set him on a collision course with a world that valued profit over progress. As others chased recognition, Tesla quietly reshaped the future, often without credit. His rivalry with Thomas Edison symbolized this clash perfectly. Direct current versus alternating current. Control versus efficiency. Business versus vision. Tesla's brilliance illuminated cities, but his refusal to play the game of power ensured he would pay a heavy price for it. Tesla's inventions reshaped civilization in ways most people never realize. Alternating current electricity, his most famous contribution, became the backbone of modern power systems, allowing electricity to travel long distances efficiently. Without it, cities as we know them would not exist. Yet Tesla didn't stop there. He explored wireless communication long before it became mainstream, demonstrated radio technology before it was officially credited to others, and experimented with X-rays before their dangers were understood. He built remote-controlled devices decades before drones or robotics were imaginable. Each invention pointed toward a future of interconnected technology, one where energy and information flowed freely. However, these breakthroughs often arrived too early, threatening industries built on scarcity and control. Tesla's ideas weren't incremental improvements, they were disruptive leaps. And disruption, especially when it undermines profit, rarely goes unchallenged. As his ideas grew more ambitious, so did the resistance against him. Pushing Tesla further to the fringes of accepted science, Wardenclyffe Tower was meant to be Tesla's greatest achievement. Rising from the ground like a monument to human potential, it was designed to transmit energy wirelessly across vast distances. Tesla envisioned a world where electricity flowed freely through the air, powering homes, industries, and even communication systems without wires. Initially funded by powerful investors, the project promised innovation and global connectivity. But as the true purpose of the tower became clear, free energy for everyone's support vanished. Funding was cut abruptly, and the tower was abandoned before completion. This wasn't just a financial setback. It was a philosophical defeat. Free energy threatened existing power structures, utility monopolies, and economic models dependent on controlled distribution. The tower stood unfinished, a silent symbol of what could have been. Some say its destruction marked the moment Tesla's dream of a liberated energy system died, placed by a world where access to power would always come at a price. As Tesla pushed forward, he increasingly found himself isolated from powerful interests. Unlike other inventors, he refused to patent aggressively or protect his ideas for personal gain. This generosity was exploited. Corporations benefited from his work while sidelining him financially and socially. Tesla believed knowledge belonged to humanity, but the world he lived in operated on ownership and control. Gradually, his funding disappeared, his public image faded, and his name was overshadowed by those who knew how to market themselves. Behind the scenes, powerful figures distanced themselves from Tesla, labeling him impractical or unstable. This narrative made it easier to dismiss his warnings and ignore his more radical ideas. The man who once electrified the world was slowly stripped of influence, not by failure, but by a system unwilling to accommodate a genius it could not control. When Nikola Tesla died in 1943, he was alone in a New York hotel room, impoverished, and largely forgotten by the public. But what happened next raised more questions than answers. Almost immediately, government officials seized his belongings, including trunks filled with notes, blueprints, and unpublished research. Some documents were declared classified, others reportedly lost. The sudden interest in Tesla's work after his death sparked speculation that he had discovered something far more significant than history admits. If his ideas were harmless fantasies, why the secrecy? Why the urgency? Tesla himself had hinted at inventions capable of immense power, both constructive and destructive. His death marked not the end of his influence, but the beginning of a mystery that continues to fuel debate and suspicion. Among the most controversial aspects of Tesla's legacy are the technologies that allegedly vanished with him. Stories of a particle beam weapon, it's often referred to as the death ray, suggested a device capable of disabling entire armies without traditional warfare. Other claims spoke of machines that could manipulate resonance, capable of causing earthquakes or structural collapse. While skeptics dismiss these as exaggerations, the disappearance of Tesla's papers makes it impossible to know the full truth. Some documents remain classified decades later, hinting that at least part of his work was considered sensitive. Whether these technologies were fully realized or merely theoretical, their suppression feeds the belief that Tesla uncovered forces too powerful to be publicly revealed. Today, Tesla's influence is everywhere, even if his name often isn't. Wireless charging, renewable energy research, radio communication, and even modern concepts of artificial intelligence echo ideas Tesla explored a century ago. His warnings about unchecked technological power and centralized control feel more relevant than ever. In a world grappling with energy crises, surveillance, and ethical dilemmas, Tesla's vision of technology serving humanity stands in stark contrast to current realities. Perhaps the true forbidden history of Nikola Tesla isn't just what was hidden, but what we chose not to follow. His story forces us to ask whether progress is defined by what we invent or by how we choose to use it. Nikola Tesla's story doesn't end with his death, and it doesn't end with the inventions that history chose to remember or forget. It ends with a question that still hangs over our world today. What kind of future do we want to build? Tesla believed knowledge should be shared, energy should be free, and technology should serve humanity rather than control it. Yet the world moved in a different direction. One where power became centralized and innovation often followed profit instead of purpose. As you reflect on what you've just heard, ask yourself whether Tesla was truly ahead of his time, or whether society simply wasn't ready to accept a future that challenged its foundations. If this story made you see history differently, take a moment to support this video by liking it, so more people can discover the truths that rarely make it into textbooks. Share it with someone who loves hidden history, unanswered mysteries, or the stories behind great minds. And if you want more deep dives into forgotten geniuses, forbidden inventions, and secrets that shaped our world, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. I also want to hear from you. Do you believe Nikola Tesla's work was intentionally suppressed, or was he simply misunderstood by his era? Which of his ideas do you think would have changed the world the most if it had been fully realized? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective is part of this story too. And finally, tell me what mystery or forbidden history you want uncovered next, because the next chapter we explore might be even more shocking than this one. If you found this story thought-provoking and eye-opening, make sure to like this video so it reaches more curious minds. Share it with friends who love hidden history and untold truths, because stories like these deserve to be heard. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into forbidden knowledge, lost inventions, and mysteries the world tried to forget.